Spoiler alert. There is no Nintendo Switch 2 news contained within this video because there has been no news, rumors, leaks that have been worth talking about that any sort of basic research would tell you within this video that have happened within the past week. But if you've been on the internet, if you've been on forums and you've been on YouTube, you would think that that wasn't the case. And I've had so many people reach out to me. I had people in my live stream yesterday reaching out to me, people DMing me on Twitter. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? This content creator made this video. This content creator made this video. Why haven't you made a video about this? And it's like, there's a reason why. Now, I know what you're saying. RGT, you've made Nintendo Switch 2 videos before in the past, and some of these things came out to be incorrect, and you would be 100% correct. But it's something that if I find that a source that's someone that's talking about it is incorrect and they're not a valid source, I don't talk about them anymore. You don't see me making videos about people like Samus Hunter and Zippo and all these other sort of anonymous sources that come out of the woodwork and say these crazy things about systems or games, and then these things never come to fruition. But there's a lot of people that do. And I guess there's nothing wrong with that. But what ends up happening is myself and Spawnwave, for some reason, we get pigeonholed with these people, that we're the people that are peddling these rumors. And people like to go back to the Nintendo Switch Pro situation, because myself and Spawnwave talked a lot about the Nintendo Switch Pro. I probably was one of the people talking about the system the most. But when you look at the sources that were involved with that system, there was reason to believe it. We're not talking about some jerk off from an anonymous forum or something like that. We're talking about places like Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, places that have people that actually know what they're talking about. I fully believe the Nintendo Switch Pro was a real thing. It was just that COVID hit, component shortages started happening, and Nintendo instead pivoted to the Switch OLED because they were like, well, the system's selling well anyways. We don't even need to beef it up. We'll just throw the better screen on there, and we don't have to worry about increasing the internals. There has been documentation that has come out that sort of proves that point, but whatever. Maybe you think the Switch Pro wasn't ever a thing. That's fine. You're allowed to think that. But these same people who didn't think the Switch Pro was a thing are thinking that these daily updates that I constantly see in my YouTube subscription feed and constantly see articles being written about, they think those stories are real. I think those stories are real, and people are milking milk it like a cow udder. They're milking this Switch 2 stuff, and for some reason, Spawnwave and I get thrown into it. Now, I know John is making a video chronicalizing sort of the events that have been happening with this, where the whole thing sort of situated from this, that, and the other, probably in a very cheerful manner, very, very upbeat, because that's the image he puts out there. He's a sick person. No, I'm just kidding. He is a genuinely good person, but I'm not that type of person, okay? If something's annoying me, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to come up with the vitriol, or however you say it, the venom. We'll just say the venom. I'm going to hit you with the venom. Now, this isn't a knock on anyone that keeps making these videos, but when you're constantly making these videos day after day, and you're making the same videos based on the same rumors that have been proven false, that's where I have a problem. That's where I have a problem, because once again, it goes back to people hitting me up and like, well, why aren't you talking about it? Why aren't you talking about this? Why, well, maybe these people aren't as smart as they are. Look at this other group of people that keeps talking about it. And all of this is stemming from something we've already talked about on this channel. That's how crazy this is. I've already debunked all the stuff that was talked about this week, last week. Yet, nobody seemed to get the memo. Nobody seemed to get the message. And I'm talking about these Nintendo Switch 2 leaks that keep popping up, talking about the specs of the system. Codename Hawk. Oh, look at me. I'm making an anonymous 4chan post. Now that's true. Oh, look, this leaker who does stuff in Korea with the Samsung stuff. They made this post. That must be true. And like, I've already talked about this stuff. I talked about this stuff last week, saying that it was fake. You could trace it back to the FAMA boards. But for some reason, this person took information that had already been reported, posted it on 4chan, then went back to FAMA boards and was like, yeah, I just put it on 4chan, and then deleted it, kind of as a lull, over a week ago. And nobody picked up on it. People are reciting the same sources. They're reciting the same information that was already debunked like a week ago. And I don't understand why this keeps happening, because it seems to be happening over and over again. Look, I have been wrong about a lot of things. I have misreported things before. Nobody is perfect. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal against these people. You could think that these people are better at YouTube than me, and that's fine. That's not going to hurt my feelings. I just question why this keeps happening. Why we keep talking about the same things that have been proven to be false, but we're giving that information out there as potentially true. Or even if we do say that the information is false, we say, well, we believe this information. This is in line with stuff that we believe in and what we think is actually going to be the thing. And it just ends up, you know, casting a shadow on other people, because I get dragged into it. Spawnwave gets dragged into it. And then people assimilate that with us. But we're not the ones doing it this time. You know, that's not what's happening within the situation. So I don't get it. And I understand from a viewer perspective that a lot of people are interested in what Nintendo is doing next. Trust me, I am super interested to see what Nintendo is doing next, because I want a Nintendo Switch 2. I've wanted a Nintendo Switch 2 since I played Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and that thing was down to below 30 frames per second. I was like, okay, it's time for a new system. It's time to do something different here. I need something with a bit more power. I need something with a bit more meat on its bones in order for me to fully enjoy this game, because these frame rates are atrocious. I've been wanting this system for a very long time. I wanted a Switch Pro for a long time. I get it. People want this sort of stuff. They want this information. But I've just seen so many people reporting the same sort of thing over and over, day in and day out. I've seen so many people making claims as factual claims, proof of things, definitive things. This is when it's going to happen. This is when it's going to come out. This is the specs of it. And it's like, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. You've got to keep an open mind. Everything is open to interpretation. Don't speak in absolutes. When people start speaking in absolutes and then things don't end up happening, that's when they get egg on their face. Even if you're 100% sure of it, I don't even know if you should still speak in absolutes, because things can change. It's the video game industry. What's the point of this video, you're saying? You know what? I honestly, I want to counteract all these freaking Nintendo Switch 2 proof leaks, real videos that pop up, because they've been proven time and time again to be bullshit, and people just aren't picking up on it, and people are just re-reporting what other people are reporting because maybe they don't know any better. Maybe they see other channels, you know, growing, and they want to get in on that too. And that, you know, I understand it. I understand the grind. I understand, you know, wanting to get your name out there, but you have to take into consideration that, you know, you have somewhat of a reputation, and my reputation definitely isn't the best on YouTube, but I try to make it decent. You know, I try to be honest with my videos, and I try to only talk about things that I feel passionate about, that I feel well versed in, and things that I believe to be true, unless stated otherwise. There has been times where I'll just take the piss out of a situation, but a lot of these people aren't doing that. They're just, you know, putting something out there just to put it out there and get those views and get those clicks. And then, you know, when it ends up not being true, maybe they'll say something about it, maybe not. And I just feel like it's not fair to viewers, you know, but that's the way the YouTube algorithm works though, man. That's how things work. You know, sometimes making the most outlandish claims can be what brings you into prominence and can be what brings you, you know, the big views. But for me personally, I'd rather keep a little bit of integrity if I have to. So what's the news about the Nintendo Switch 2? There is no news. The rumors have been proven false time and time again. We've already covered the rumors before on this channel, but for some reason this past week and even the past few days, there's been more and more videos coming out about this. So it's time to be like, hey, you know what? Everything up to this point, whatever you did, like, that's cool, but just try to be better in the future. Try to be better in the future, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all just trying to talk about video games. We're all trying to talk about video game news, give our opinions on video game stuff. But when you're blatantly giving out false information, it's not fair to the viewer at the end of the day. It's not fair to the viewer. And eventually people are going to catch on to it, and then they're going to hate you like people hate me. And you don't want to end up like me, do you? Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't what I planned on making for today. Make sure you go watch John's video, which is all happy, hunky-dory stuff on this situation. He will kind of give you the guidelines for the story and how the story played out. I'm the one that's just, you know, trying to hold people to a higher standard on the story and on the reporting, because just the amount of people that are reaching out to me that are confused by this information, like, it's not fair to people. It's not fair to people, especially when it's been proven false, but you're still perpetuating it as truth. Like, you know, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. Just something I wanted to talk about. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.